Cameras on. So while everybody turns on their camera, just a little bit about myself. Oh, hi, Afia. I remember you. You're from the writing class. So my name is Cameron, or Cam. I'm with the history department at York University. I just finished my master's this summer. And this September, I'll be beginning my doctorate or PhD with the history department at York. My area of expertise for history is in mental illness, psychiatry, the First World War. So I look at the relationship between mental illness and warfare. I also have some experience in academic writing and creative writing and reading classes as well. So that's why they're having me do this 8-week class. I think it's just for the month of August. I was going to go do around the table, everybody introduces themselves, but there's about 14, 15 of you. We won't do that just because we'll lose out on a lot of time. But I do know some of you from my reading and writing class, and for those who are joining this class from the past, good to see you again. So today our book is going to be The Hunger Games. So if everybody can give me a thumbs up in the camera, who here has seen the book or read the movies, or both seen the book and read the movies? So if everybody can just give me a thumbs up just so I can get a sense. Come on, camera shy people. All right, so Joy, seen the book. Who here's seen the movie? Raise your hand if you've seen the movie. I've seen about, 2 or 3 of 2.5. I've seen 2 of the movies. Okay, Jasper, let's see here. Not too many hands up. Okay. Who here? Okay, Joy. Okay. Who here? Karina, good. Who here has read the book? Who here has read the Hunger Games book? So I have not read it, but this will be my first time reading. Karina, seen it. Jasper, Joy. Okay, so some of you are experts already. So this will be very new. This will just be review for you, just for fun. For the rest of the class, including me, this is my first time teaching the Hunger Games, and so hopefully we'll both enjoy it. Like what Michael was saying, there's some action. There's action in the books. Jack said he read it. There's action in the books. There's a lot of drama, action, so you're gonna like it, and it's both for boys and girls. So before we get started, I'm going to just introduce the book, give who the author is, give some background information, especially to those who have not read it before, or if you have read it, if you forgot, if it's been a long time. So I'm just going to give, without giving any spoilers away, just a brief summary of what the book is about. So the book, it's The Hunger Games. We know it's in a trilogy. It's in a 3-set trilogy by the American author Suzanne Collins. It was published in 2008, and it has sold millions of copies around the world. Besides being a book, we know that The Hunger Games was a very successful film. And in the first weekend alone in North America, it has made $150 million. So very popular film. So just some background about the book. The story is set in the future after the destruction of North America. The country is now called Penium. There are 12 districts which are governed by the capital. And the capital is the government, and the capital is in charge of the 12 districts. There was a 13th district in the past, but the capital destroyed it after a rebellion. So the capital organizes the Hunger Games every year in order to punish the districts. 1 boy and 1 girl between the ages of 12 and 14 are chosen to fight to the death. The victors of the Hunger Game brings recognition and brings attention to their districts, and they're given a much more better life if they win. The chosen teenagers are called tributes, and during the Hunger Games, the entire country watches the games on television. The story is about Candace Everdeen, a 16-year-old girl. Her father died, and now she kills animals to feed her family. Her younger sister Prim is chosen to be a tribute, but as we've seen in the movie, Candace volunteers to go instead. The other tribute from District 12 is a boy named Peter, and he is also one of the main characters that we see throughout the series and the movies. So without further ado, I would like to go. I'm just going to share everyone my screen. And can everybody please give me a thumbs up if they see my screen? So everybody give me a thumbs up if you see my screen. The reason why I ask is because Zoom sometimes has issues. Okay, I'm getting multiple thumbs up. So today we're just, all right, thank you very much, everybody. So today, so this is the color of the Hunger Games. Over here is the Mockingjay that we see in the book and the film, and it has that whistle, that whistle, and this Mockingjay becomes a very powerful symbol, a symbol of rebellion, a symbol of defiance against the capital. So so today we're going to look at chapter 1 of part 1 called The Tributes. Obviously, we're not going to finish the entire chapter because I want to explain key concepts, vocabulary terms, ask everyone questions to see if they're following along. And the idea is we do one chapter per day, and whatever is not done, you finish at home for homework. So we're going to start chapter 1. I'll read maybe for the first page or two, and then after, I really want to get some of you guys to participate, especially those camera shy people. Okay, everybody. So, and if I stop after a paragraph, it's because I may want to emphasize or explain a key concept or just ask a question in general to see if you guys are paying attention. Okay, let's begin. When I wake up, the other side of my bed is cold. My fingers stretch out, seeking Prim's warmth, but finding only the rough canvas cover of the mattress. She must have had bad dreams and climbed in with her mother. Of course she did. This is the day of the reaping. I pop myself up on one elbow. There's enough light in the bedroom to see them. My little sister Prim curled up on her side, cocooned in my mother's body, their cheeks pressed together. In my sleep, my mother looks younger, but still worn, but not so beat down. Prim's face is as fresh as a raindrop, as lovely as the primrose for which she is named. My mother was beautiful once too, or so they tell me. Sitting at Prim's knees, guarding her, is the world's ugliest cat. Mashed in nose, half of one ear missing, eyes the color of rotten squash. Prim named him Buttercup, insisting that his yellow coat matched the bright flower. Lee hates me, or at least distrusts me. Even though it was 2 years ago, I think he still remembers how I tried to drown him in a bucket when Prim brought him home. Scrawny kitty, belly swollen with worms, crawling with fleas. The last thing I needed was another mouth to feed, but Prim begged so hard, even cried. I let him stay. It turned out okay. My mother got rid of the venom, and he's born Moser. Even catches the occasional rat. Sometimes when I kill, I fed Buttercup the entrails. He has stopped hissing at me. Entrails, no hissing. This is the closest we will ever come to love. Okay, so I want to get some of you to read. Afia, I know you from my other class. So Afia, can you go ahead and please read the next paragraph or two? So I swing.
I swing my legs off the bed and slide into my hunting boots, supple leather that has molded to my feet. I pull on trousers, a shirt, tuck my long dark braid up into a cap, and grab my forage bag. On the table, under a wooden bowl to protect it from hungry rats and cats alike, sits a perfect little goat cheese wrapped in basil leaves, Prince's gift to me on reaping day. I put the cheese carefully in my pocket as I slip outside.
All right, Sophia, Thea, one more paragraph, please, then I'll get someone else.
Our part of District 12, nicknamed The Seam, is usually crawling with coal miners heading out to the morning shift at this hour. Men and women with hunched shoulders, swollen knuckles, many who have long since stopped trying to scrub the coal dust out of their broken nails, the lines of their sunken faces. But today, the black cinder streets are empty. Shutters on the squat gray houses are closed. The reaping isn't until 2. May as well sleep in if you can.
Very good, very good. Okay, very good. All right, so Afia, I wanted to ask you a question. So we've been reading about the setting of where Candace lives in District 12. What is their lifestyle like? How do they live? What is their lifestyle like? Are they rich, poor, middle class? What's their lifestyle?
Poor.
Yeah, they're very poor. And can you give me an example of how they're very poor?
Because the girl in the story, she has to hunt food for them.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, she has to hunt food for them because they're very poor, and also they live in a very poor house, very cold, and there's rats living all over. So we get a sense that the people who live in District 12 and the other districts are very poor and struggling to live. Okay, let's get a next student to read. I'm just going to pick Tyler. I saw you with your camera on. If you want, can you please turn on your camera and read the next paragraph?
Our house is almost at the edge of the seam. I only have to pass a few gates to reach the scruffy field called the meadow.
Meadow?
The meadow from the woods. In fact, enclosing all the District 12 is a high chain link fence topped with barbed wire looped in fairy. It's supposed to be electrified 24 hours a day. Has a
where it has a where did you stop? It acts as a deterrent
to the predators that live in the woods. Packs of wild dogs,
long cougars,
bears that used to friend our streets. But since we're lucky to get 2 or 3 hours of electricity in the evenings, is usually safe to touch. Even so, I always take a moment to listen carefully for the hum that means a fence is live. Right now, it's a silent stone concealed by a clump of bushes. I flattened out my belly and side under 2-foot stretch that's been loose for years. There are several other weak spots in the fence, but this one is so close to home. I almost always enter the woods here.
Very good. Okay, so I want to go over a couple vocabulary terms, and I'll be doing this whenever I see something really important or key to the story. So the first key term I want to go over is deterrent. So I'm adding this to the chat. So for those of you who are interested, I'll be adding the words to the chat in case you want to follow along and make notes for yourself. Just another thing, when you see the homework, there will also be a list of vocabulary words that I think that are more important from the story. But since it's the summer and since you have little to no homework, I suggest you also build your own vocabulary words, define them, make worldly connections, and make your own sentences. So deterrent. So deterrent means to deter. Deterrent means to deter or to prevent. So when you want to talk about deterrent, it means to deter or to prevent. So my sentence is the fence deterred animals from attacking the village. So the fence deterred the animals from attacking the village, or the fence prevented animals from attacking the village. All right, Tyler, good job. So Tyler, we are just talking about deterrent and how it means to deter or to prevent something. It's like, for example, it's used as protection. Tyler, what is your sentence for deterrent?
Basically protecting something.
Yes, that's the definition, but what's your sentence?
I don't have one.
Can you come up with one?
Deterrent is basically something really tall or really large, or has a lot of protection, protecting something inside.
Okay, so you gave a definition. That's a good definition, but let's get a sentence. Okay, Afia, can you give a sentence for deterrent? So something large or something to protect or to prevent. So we got a really great definition from Tyler. Can you please give us a sentence?
There are many deterrent animals in the village.
Yeah, there are many, or we can, okay, very good, Sophia, and thank you, Tyler. Or we can just change up the sentence and we can say the animals act like as a deterrent in the village. So you said there are many deterrent animals in the village. We can say the animals act as a deterrent in the village. All right, Tyler, so we were just reading about the setting around District 12. So Tyler, how would you describe the setting, of District 12?
A forest.
A forest, but what is, okay, yeah, oh yes, there's a forest, but what is District 12 surrounded by?
I actually don't know that.
Remember, you just read it, so remember, District 12 is surrounded by barbed wire fences and chain link fences. So when we read the sentence that District 12 is surrounded by these fences, we get the setting that District 12 is not very safe, that it's a very dangerous district where the people live. So not only do they live in poverty, they also live in a very dangerous environment. So that's why the fence is up. Okay, let's get Karina. I see your camera. So Karina, can you please read the next page? The next first paragraph.
As soon as I'm in the trees, I retrieve a bow and sheath some arrows from a hollow log. Electrified or not, the fence has been successful at keeping the flesh eaters out of District 12. Inside the woods, they roam freely, and there are added concerns like venomous snakes, rabid animals, and no real paths to follow. But there's also food if you know how to find it. My father knew, and he taught me some before he was blown to bits in a mine explosion. There was nothing even to bury. I was 11 then. 5 years later, I still wake up screaming for him to run.
Okay, all right, can you please read the, okay, very good. So we see not only is it dangerous, but we also see there's dangerous animals, and that's why they have the fence up. They have the fence up to keep out the venomous snakes, the rabid animals. And that's why the fence acts as a deterrent. Very good. All right, let's see here. This is a big paragraph, so I'll get you, let's see here. Can I please get another, Henry? Hello, Henry. Henry, can you please read this next paragraph?
Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Henry. Thank you.
Even though trespassing in the woods is illegal and poaching carries the severest of penalties, more people would risk it if they had weapons. But most are not bold enough to venture out with just a knife. My bow is a rarity, crafted by my father along with a few others that I keep well hidden in the woods. Carefully wrapped in the waterproof covers, My father could have made good money selling them, but if the officials found out, he would have been publicly executed for inciting a rebellion. Most of the peacekeepers turn a blind eye to the few of us who hunt because they're hungry for fresh meat as anybody is. In fact, they're among our best customers. But the idea of someone might be arming the scene would never been allowed.
All right, thank you. Henry, my question for you is, why do you think Candace keeps weapons in the woods?
To protect them from the wild animals?
Yeah, she keeps weapons in the woods to protect them, to protect their family from the wild animals, and I think maybe she also keeps weapons in the woods, to hunt. So so thank you, Henry. Good reading. So I want to go on another vocabulary, and this is actually one of the key terms that I added to the homework: incite or inciting. So again, I'm adding this to the chat if you want to keep note and follow. So inciting. So inciting means to stir up or encourage. So it means to stir up or encourage, and sometimes it can be a bad thing or a good thing. So my sentence is the protesters or the police. So my sentence is for inciting. Let me think. Just trying to think of a good sentence. Okay, here's my sentence. So for inciting, so it means to encourage or stir up. It's usually violence. So for example, the action. So the guilty criminal incited. The guilty criminal incited action from the protesters. So the guilty criminal incited action from the protesters, or the guilty criminal stirred up action from the protesters. Henry, what is your sentence? What sentence can you come up for inciting? So again, inciting means to stir up or to encourage, usually violence or something really bad.
Let me think.
Sure. So again, it's like to encourage, or so for example, they're talking about inciting of a rebellion, so they're talking about stirring up violence or encouraging violence.
I'm not sure how to wait.
Okay, I'll do another example. So another example I can say is another example is he incited, or the offense of inciting. So the offense of inciting racial hatred, angered the crowd, or the offense of inciting racial hatred angered the crowd. Or sometimes we can have it in another definition. He incited a rebellion amongst the town people, or he encouraged a rebellion amongst the town people. Anything else you can? So does that kind of help, Henry?
Yeah, it does.
All right. So what's your sentence for incite or inciting?
The protesters incited. There's a word I'm looking for.
So the protesters incited. That's a really good start, Henry. The protesters incited.
The protesters incited action from the police, or like.
Yeah, very good. The protesters incited action from the police, or the protesters stirred up or encouraged action from the police. Very good. The protesters incited action from the police. Very good, very good. Okay, let's get someone else to read. Sophia, hello, Sophia. So
Hi.
Hi, Sophia. All right, Sophia, you're up. You're up next to read the next couple paragraphs.
In the fair, a pharaoh brave the snake into the woods to
Harvest.
Apples, but
Apples.
always instead of the mountain. Always close into bring back to the solitude of District 12 to if drive versus District 12 where you can serve to this in safety. I matter then I glance quickly over my shoulder. Even in the media of no here you worry someone means overhear you.
All right, very good, very good. All right, Sophia, can you please keep reading up until here? Just so finish where you see highlighted in blue, just finish that paragraph, please. Then I'll get someone else to split the other one with you. All right, Sophia, you're up.
When I was younger, I scared my mother to did the things I would read out about. District 12 about the people who rule our country, Penham from the far off city called the
Capital.
Eventually, I understand that this would only lend used to more trouble, so I learned to hold my
Tongue
and to turn my factors into an infrared mask so that no one could ever read my things.
Very good. Thank you, Sophia. All right, so we'll get Jack and then we'll talk about what happened in this paragraph. All right, Mr. Jack, can you please go ahead and take over? Do my work.
Do my work quietly in school, make only polite small talk in the public market, discuss little more than trade in the hub, which is the black market where I make most of my money. Even at home where I'm less present, I avoid discussing tricky topics like the reapings or food shortages or the Hunger Games. Prim might begin to repeat my word and then where would we be?
All right, very good. So in this paragraph, we're learning that Candace, we're seeing what kind of person Candace is like, do my work quietly in school, small, polite talk in the market, avoid discussing tricky topics. So Jack, why do you think Candace avoids getting herself seen? Why do you think she avoids getting herself seen and she keeps under the radar?
So I think she is just like, she don't want to get in trouble or be like found by the capital that she says something bad to them, and it will hurt her family.
Yeah, very good, Jack. Thank you. Yeah, obviously, we can see that she's trying to keep quiet. She's keeping in line. She doesn't want to get attention notice from the authorities in charge of District 12 or from the capital, and so she's keeping in line and following the rules because she wants to protect her family from the capital. All right, very good. Let's see here. Betty, hello, Betty. Betty, would you like to read? Okay, okay, I'll get in. David Shi. David Shi. Hello, David Shi. Okay. David, do you want to read? Okay, silent. Let's get another one. Hopefully I have Jasper. Hello, Jasper. Jasper, would you like to read? I'll try one more. Okay. Jenny, hello, Jenny. Would you like to read? Guys, I encourage you to participate. If like more, I encourage you to participate. You will really benefit from the lesson and really be engaged with the material. Thank you to those who participate, but for those who are too camera shy to talk or turn on their camera, I really encourage you to get on. Jenny, you want to read? Okay, if I'll try one more, if not, I'll get one of my regulars to read. Tyler, hello, Tyler, would you like to read? Okay, all right, Tyler, why don't you take over? In the woods.
In the wood waits the only person with warmth. I can be myself, gal. I can feel muscles in my face, relaxing my pace quickening as I climb the hills to our place, a rock ledge overlooking a valley. A thicket of berry bushes protects it from unwanted eyes. The sight of him waiting there brings on a smile. Gal says, I never smile except in the woods.
All right, very good. So I just got a message from one of the students. Jenny, I thank you for volunteering. All right. All right, Jenny, you're up. So, hey, Catnip. Oh, next class you want. Next class, Jenny. All right. Okay, Jenny says she's going to read in the next class. Rebecca, hello, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for participating. All right, it's just thank you for raising your hand. All right, hey, Catnip.
Hey, Catnip, says Gail. My real name is Katniss, but when I first told him, I barely whispered it, so he thought I said catnip. Then when this crazy lynx started following me around the woods looking for handouts, it became his official nickname for me. I finally had to kill the lynx because he scared off game. I almost regretted it because he wasn't bad company. I got a decent price for his help.
Good. Can you please read one more paragraph, Rebecca? Excuse me. So look what I shot.
Look what I shot. Look what I shot. Gail holds up a loaf of bread with an arrow in it, and I laugh. It's real bakery bread, not the dense loaves made from our grain rations. I take it in my hands, pull out the arrow, and hold the puncture in the crust to my nose, inhaling the fragrance that makes my mouth flood with saliva. Find bread like this for special occasions.
All right, very good, very good. So thank you, Rebecca, for reading. So the next key term that I want to do is the word puncture, just because I think it holds relevance. So I'm going to take my blue pen, puncture, and I'm adding this to the chat. So I encourage you all to, we start to slowly build up our vocabulary list and our understanding. So, all right, guys, puncture, U-N-C, puncture, P-U-N-C-T-U. Okay, puncture, when we talk about puncture means to make a small hole. So when you talk about puncture, to make a small, so when we talk about puncture is a small hole where air escapes. So puncture is a small hole where air escapes. So my sentence for puncture is, I punctured my bicycle tire the other day. I punctured my bicycle tire the other day. And actually this summer, I actually punctured my bicycle tire twice. So I had to get it fixed twice because there was a small puncture in the same spot twice. Rebecca, what sentence can you come up with puncture? So remember back, Rebecca, puncture is where there's a small hole where air escapes. So I punctured my bicycle tire the other day, or I can say my car, or I had to take in my cars for repair because the wheel had a puncture. So your sentence for puncture. No? Afia, can you please come up with a sentence for puncture? Afia. So Afia, puncture is where air escapes from a small hole. Okay, Chang raised his hand. Thank you, Chang. I'll get you to participate in the next paragraph. All right, Afi, I'll give you a second. So Chang, I saw your hand go. So Chang, what is your sentence for puncture? Okay, so Chang actually sent me a message, and Chang said, I punctured a balloon. I punctured a balloon. Thank you very much, Chang. But I encourage you all not only to use the chat, but also to talk and to participate. Did you think of something, Ophia? Okay, no worries, guys. So we got one sentence done. Okay, I'll read the next two paragraphs, then I'll give someone else. Still warm, I say. He must have been at the bakery at the crack of dawn to trade for it. What did it cost you? Just a squirrel. Think, the old man was feeling sentimental this morning, says Gail. Even wished me luck. Well, we all feel a little closer today, don't we? I say, not bothering to roll my eyes. Prim left us a cheese. I will pull it out. Okay, let's see here. Chang, I saw your hand go up. So Chang, would you like to read the next paragraph, his expression? No? Henry, I haven't selected you. Henry, would you like to read the next paragraph?
Okay, I may as well read again.
Okay, his expression?
His expression brightens at the treat. Thank you, friend. We'll have a real feast. Suddenly, he falls into a capital accent as he mimics the Effie trinket. The maniacally upbeat woman who arrives once a year read out the names at leaping. Almost forgot. Happy Hunger Games! He plucks out a few blackberries from the bushes around us, and may the odds, he tosses a berry in a high arc toward me.
All right, very good. So, all right, guys. So the next key sentence that I remember doing this just a couple days ago. Maniacally is the next key sentence, and that's actually on the homework. So like we're getting some of the definitions done. So I'm adding this to the chat. So maniacally can have a couple definitions. So it's so I'm adding some, writing down the word. M-A-N I-A, maniacally, and it's usually associated with madness. So when we talk about maniacally, it's usually associated with madness or with insanity. Associated associated with madness or insanity. So some examples are, when we talk about maniacal, we have a maniacally killer, a maniacally killer, maniacally laughter. When we think of maniacally, we think of the Joker from the Batman movies with his maniacally laughter. And we also have maniacally energy, where you have tons of energy, like really hyper energy. Okay, so I'm gonna do a very easy sentence where we all can relate to it. So the Joker from the Batman series the Joker from the Batman series has a maniacal or maniac laughter, M-A-N. So, okay, so the Joker from the Batman series has a maniacal laughter. Henry, can you come up with a sentence with manically or maniacal? So it's like, with three definitions. It's either it's associated with madness, insanity. You can be a maniacal killer, maniacal laughter, or maniacal energy. So I decided to do the maniacal laughter by using the Joker.
He manically laughed when he skinned the dead animal.
He manically laughed when he skinned the dead animal. Very good. Thank you, Henry. Okay, who have I? Joy. Hello, Joy. Would you like to read? I catch.
I catch it in my mouth and break the delicate skin with my teeth. The sweet tartness explode across my tongue. Be ever in your favor. I finish with equal verb. We have to joke about it because the alternative is to be scared out of your wits. Besides, the capital accent is so affected. Almost anything sounds funny in it.
All right, very good, very good. All right, another key term. So I'm gonna do one more key term, then take a break, then just ask questions about the story, just because I'm noticing a lot of these key terms that I also added to the homework. So another key term I'm adding is verb. When we talk about verb means to be. Make sure everyone's writing this down, even the trial students, to be filled with spirit, to be filled with spirit or enthusiasm. So verb means to be filled with spirit or enthusiasm. My sentence is the king sings with extreme verve. So the king sings with extreme verve, or the king sings with extreme spirit, typo, or enthusiasm. Joy, what is your sentence for verve? Verb, it have lots of spirit or enthusiasm. So let's see, the king sings with extreme verve, or I did my exam with extreme verve, or I did my exam with extreme enthusiasm. So Joy, I'll give you a second if you can come up with verve.
The dog eats his treat with extreme verve.
Yeah, the dog eats the treat with extreme verve, or the dog eats the treat with extreme enthusiasm. Very good. And I think all animals eat with extreme verve. Okay. Afia, can you please read the next two paragraphs? I watch.
I watch as Gil pulls out his knife and slices the bread. He could be my brother. Straight black hair, olive skin, we even have the same gray eyes, but we're not related, at least not closely. Most of the families who work the mines resemble one another this way. That's why my mother and Prim, with their light hair and blue eyes, always look out of place. They are. My mother's parents were part of the small merchant class that caters to officials, peacekeepers, and the occasional esteemed customer. They ran an apothecary shop in the nicer part of District 12. Since almost no one can afford doctors, apothecaries are our healers. My father got to know my mother because on his hunts, he would sometimes collect medical herbs and sell them to her shop to be brewed into remedies. She must have really loved him to leave her home for this scene. I try to remember that when all I can see is the woman who sat by, blank and unreachable, while her children turn to skin and bone. I try to forgive her for my father's sake, but to be honest, I'm not the forgiving type.
All right, so for those of you who who are wondering what does this key term, what the apothecary, I'm not going to add this to our definition just because I want to spend a little bit more time with the story instead of pausing every paragraph when I see a key term. But for those of you who don't know this key term, apothecary, there are people who sell herbs, people who sell medicines, people who sell drugs. So like think of them not as doctors, think of as apothecaries as natural healers where they use natural medicine from the forest and from nature to cure illness and disease. So that like you might say the natural healers who uses natural remedies, natural medicines. All right, very good. Let's see here. So I'm grateful for the same people to participate, but I really want to get some new faces. I'll try again. David, would you like to read? David. Okay. Betty. Okay. All right, guys. All right. Okay, Chang. All right, Chang, raise your hand. So Chang, can you please read this paragraph? Gail?
Gail spreads the bread slices with the soft goat cheese, carefully placing a basil leaf on each one while I strip the bushes of their berries. We settle back in a nook in the rocks. From this place, we are invisible, but we have a clear view of the valley, which is teeming with a summer life. Greens to gather, roots to dig, fish and iridescent in the sunlight. The day is glorious. The day is glorious with a blue sky and soft breeze. The food's wonderful with the soft cheese seeping into the warm bread and the berries bursting into our mouths. Everything would be perfect if this really was a holiday. If all the day off meant that was roaming the mountains with Gail, hunting for tonight's supper, but instead we have to be standing in the square at 2 o'clock waiting for the names to be called out.
All right, so Chang, very good. So thanks for reading. So thank you for reading, Chang. So Chang, so obviously, you know, we've talked about that in District 12. It's very poor, very dangerous, and so that's why Candace keeps her head down. And so when she's out in nature hunting, what kind of person does Candace become when hunting? Because obviously she becomes so different. What kind of person does she become when she's hunting for food in the forest? So remember, in District 12, she lives in poverty. It's very dangerous. She's very silent. What kind of person does she become in the forest, Chang?
Maybe like a loud person, like not really caring like what like happens, like it's just like I don't really know.
No, you're right. So we see her like, you're right. We see her become a different person, and we can see her passion in hunting. I think, if I remember from, both reading the from the movie, her main weapon is a bow and arrow. So obviously she changes and she becomes a more better person. The day is glorious with a blue sky and sun breeze. The food's wonderful. So we see that she becomes more alive, more human, and that we see she really has the passion for hunting. And this is where she really comes to life, and she doesn't have to worry about the capital breathing down her neck. And this is where she truly becomes herself. Okay, I'll finish this paragraph, and then, okay, one more question. So Chang, it says at 2 o'clock, they have to go to the square for the names to be called out. Obviously, for those who know the books and movies, we know what happens. But for those who don't know, I want to ask you this question. Chang, at 2 o'clock, why do you think they have to go to the square?
I don't really know.
No? Did you see the book or the movie? Okay, so for those who saw the book and the movie, we know why they go to the square. And for those who have not read of the Hunger Games, I'm not going to give any spoilers and tell why they go to the square at 2. We could do it, Gail says quietly. What? I ask. Leave the district, run off, live in the woods. You and I, we can make it, says Gail. I don't know how to respond. The idea is so preposterous. I want to do one more key term. So preposterous, I'm adding this to the chat. So like I said, hopefully you're following this. You're making notes because, it's, I think preposterous is one of the key terms I added to the homework. So P-R-E-P-O-S. Preposterous means something that is so silly, ridiculous, ridiculous or absurd. So when we talk about preposterous, something that is so silly, ridiculous or absurd. So for example, my sentence is, it is preposterous, P-R-E. It is preposterous to believe that the earth is flat. It is preposterous to believe that the earth is flat, or it is silly or ridiculous to believe that the earth is flat. Chang, since you read last, what is your sentence for preposterous? No, okay. Afia, what is your sentence for preposterous? So preposterous, Afia, is something that is silly or ridiculous or really weird.
Eating eggs with chocolate is preposterous.
Very good. Very good, Afia. Eating eggs with chocolate is preposterous, or that is very ridiculous or very silly. Thank you, Afia. Okay, here. Tyler, you've been silent for a while. So Tyler, why don't you read the next two? If we
didn't have so many kids, he adds quickly. They're not our kids, of course, but they might as well be gals to little brothers and a sister. Prim and you may as well throw in our mothers too, because how would they live without us? Who would fill those mouths that are always asking for more. With both of us hunting daily, there are still nights when game has to be swamped for lard or shoelaces or wool. Still nights when we go to bed with our stomachs growling. I never want kids, I say.
Okay, very good. Jasper, would you like to read? Hello, Jasper. Okay. Let's see here. Jack, hello, Jack. Would you like to read?
From I Never Want to Have Kids.
Keep going, Jack. I just want you to finish this page.
Okay. I never want to have kids, I said. I meant if I didn't live here, says Gail. But you do, I say, irritated. Forget it, he snaps back. The conversation feels so wrong. Leave? How could I leave Prim, who is the only person in the world I'm certain I love? And Gail is devoted to his family. We can't live, so why bother talking about it? And even if we did, where did this stuff about having kids come from? There's never been anything romantic between Gail and me. When we met, I was a skinny 12-year-old, and although he was only 2 years older, he already looked like a man. It took a long time for us to even become friends. To stop hankering over every trade and begin helping each other out. Besides, if he wants kids, Gail won't have any trouble finding a wife. He's good looking. And what? I can see it.
All right. So okay. So thank you, Jack. So in this paragraph, we're seeing where she's dealing with the concept of leaving Gail, running away in the woods, and leaving this life. So Jack, why does she feel when they're talking about leaving District 12 and going to live in the woods? Why do you think the conversation feels all wrong? She's questioning herself of what to do, but why do you think the conversation feels all wrong to Candace?
Because Candace only saw that they were friends, but not that much like being a lover.
Yeah, very. Thank you, Jack. Good jobs. Yeah, so she sees that she doesn't see her friend Gail as a lover or as a romantic person that she'll end up with. She just sees him as a friend. And she's also having a hard time dealing with the thought of leaving because she still has a life at home. She still has a mother, and she still has Prim, who she's incredibly loyal, devoted, and dedicated to. So she's really having a hard time dealing with the concept of leaving. Okay. Besides, if he wants kids, Gail won't have any trouble finding a wife. He's good looking, he's strong enough to handle the work in the mines, and he can hunt. You can tell by the way the girls whisper about him when he walks by in school that they want him. It makes me jealous, but not for the reason people would think. Good hunting partners are hard to find. All right, let's finish up this page, and then I'll show you something else. Who's the person with the blue tree? Let me get that person. Sophia, hello, Sophia. Would you like to read? Okay. Jenny, hello, Jenny. Guys, please, I encourage you all to participate. Okay, Afia, do you want to go ahead and read the next 3 paragraphs? What do you want?
What do you want to do? I asked. We can hunt, fish, or gather. Let's fish at the lake. We can leave our pools and gather in the woods. Get something nice for tonight, he says. Tonight, after the reaping, everyone is supposed to celebrate. A lot of people do, out of relief that their children have been spared for another year. But at least 2 families will. pull their shutters, lock their doors, and try to figure out how they will survive the painful weeks to come.
All right, very good, very good. All right, and Tyler, can you please read the next paragraph?
What? Wait, where?
Oh, we make out well.
We make out while the predators ignore us on a day when easier, tastier prey abounds. By late morning, we have a dozen fish, a bag of greens, and best of all, a gallon of strawberries. I found the patch a few years ago, but Gal had an idea to string mesh nets around it to keep out the animals.
Very good. All right, so let's finish this last big paragraph. I'll split it with someone, so I'll get. So let's see here. Henry, I'll split this paragraph with you. All right, Henry, can you please read up until here? So on
the way home, we swing by the hog, the black market that operates in the abandoned warehouse that once held coal. When they came up with a more efficient system that transported the coal directly from the mines to the trains, the hub gradually took over the space. Most businesses are closed by this time on a reaping day, but the black market is still fairly busy. We easily trade 6 of the fish for good bread, the other 2 for salt. Greasy Say, the bony old woman who sells bowls of hot soup from a large kettle, takes half the greens off her hands in exchange for a couple of chunks of paraffin.
Thank you, and I'll finish. We might do a tad better elsewhere, but we make an effort to keep on good terms with Great Greasy Sea. She's the only one who consistently be counted on to buy a wild dog. We don't hunt them on purpose, but if you're a tag, you take out a dog or 2. Well, meat is meat. Once it's in the soup, I call it beef, Greasy says with a wink. No one in the scene would turn up their nose at a good like a wild dog, but the peacekeepers who come to hop can afford to be a little choosier. Okay, guys, so we have another just a couple minutes or 5 minutes before the class ends. I want to show you the homework. I want to show you the homework that we're going to be doing if you choose to enroll. Okay. Okay, guys, so here's the homework. I'm going to share screen in 3, 2, 1. All right, can you guys give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen? So give me a thumbs up if you can. Okay, Jenny, I'm getting multiple thumbs up, so it's working. So if you choose to, hopefully all of you can enroll, and that'll be really great, get to know you all. This is what the homework looks like. So again, this is for chapter 1, and this is the way we did it. So we have the vocabulary words. We want you to write the words 3 times, write the definition of the word, and then make your own sentence. So we have the word insight, verb, preposterous. So these are some of the words we did in class today. And if you paid attention and you got some of these words done, you're already halfway there. So again, you're going to write the word reaping 3 times. You're going to write the word meaning. What does it mean? Then you're going to come up with your own sentence. You're going to then repeat the same pattern for insight, verb, apocalypse, preposterous, racketeering, obliterate, repentance, predators, and occasional. So write the word 3 times, give the meaning of the word, and come up with your own sentence. Super easy. And then here are some questions, some based on the reading. So if you were reading, paying attention, participating, answer question, you should not struggle at all. So again, describe District 12. What illegal activity does Candace participate in doing? Why does she do this? Describe the relationship between Gail and Candace. So we just talked about the relationship, especially why she has a hard time leaving. So we talked about it. What is reaping? Do you think this is a fair practice? Explain. And number 5. So number 5, I'm adding this to the chat. Actually, I'll add this here. Number 5 is a paragraph answer. So number 5 is a paragraph answer. So overall, what is the purpose of the Hunger Games? If you were there, would you like to join? So number 5 is a paragraph answer. So at least 6 to 8 sentences. Topic sentence / main idea. My bad. Supporting details. Then closing sentence, and that should be it for number 5. And please, I want number 5, if you choose to enroll, to be a paragraph. A lot of students, sometimes, I know it's summer, and a lot of students like to get lazy, and a lot of students like to get 1 or 2 worded responses, but I don't like that. So my expectation is no 1 or 2 worded responses. So no 1 or 2 worded responses. So again, number 5 is a good paragraph, main idea, supporting details, closing sentence, and it should be 6 to 8 sentences. So I just want to show you how to access the homework if you choose to enroll. Give me a sec. Okay, so hang on, guys. Sorry, I just lost it for this. Hang on, just 1 second. Okay, sorry, I just lost it for once. Okay, just give me. Okay, so I'm going to share screen. Where is it?
When is the next one?
Hang on, I'm just going to share. Okay, just sorry. So guys, what's your question, Henry?
No.
That's okay, Henry. Next class is Monday.
Oh, I forgot.
All right. So guys, if you choose to enroll, we will send you the link to the PDF. If the homework is not too much, you can do more. You can add more vocabulary words. I encourage you to do more if you find it's not too much, but I just want to give a nice balance. So again, if you want to do more vocabulary words, answer more, come up with your own questions and your own answers, that's fine. So this is it. So the Hunger Games, we have the PDF to the book. So you click on the PDF and you'll all have access to it. Underneath here, class handout and homework. This is where you'll find the homework. So underneath class handout and homework, you will find the homework right here. And then when you finish the homework, you'll upload it in this section, completed homework. You'll upload it in the selection completed homework. And the PDF is free to download. So the PDF is free to download. You can get it anywhere, and you can also use this PDF. Again, homework is in class handout. You finish the homework, and then you hand it in complete homework. Any questions, guys? Any questions about the book, the class, or the homework?